Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome to Monday. Welcome to our Facebook Lives, and welcome back to everybody who's been joining us. We had some great times over the weekend doing coaching. Ben came on the show, as it were, to do coaching over the weekend, and we talked lots of different things. And so what I wanted to do today, and I know I haven't been doing this really as a webinar, but I think it's going to give some structure and some organization, because I think it's settling into people that we may be home for a very long time. We may be going out and working because we are essential services and deemed that way for a very long time. And I want to give some structure to this week. I'm going to give some structure to next week too, and so this week I'm going to be talking about how I built a life that I really like. And next week I'm going to be talking about very specific things that I do in my life and teaching you about these things because they are the tools I use to create the life I like. All right, and so when people do this sort of stuff, it's all about create the life you want in 5 easy steps, and I literally do have it in 5 easy steps, and I know I put that in the description as kind of I put it in there as kind of a joke because it's not easy. The steps are simple. I promise you the steps are really, really simple, but the work isn't easy. Constructing and creating a life you like is, as Simon Sinek says, an infinite game. And if you haven't read that book, by all means, go read that book. Creating a life you like is a choice you make every single solitary day. It's a choice I make every day. So this morning, I was awake at 4:30 this morning. I normally get up around 5:30. But somebody who I love very dearly was snoring next to me. And I decided to get up, and I decided to do what I call self-coaching, which is where I take my epically awesome journal, right? I take my journal and I write. And then I did some work with videos from my business coach. I checked social media, and then I kind of got on with my day. And I really like my life. My kids are home right now. My husband is home. We normally work from home. There are some fights about the Wi-Fi and who gets what Wi-Fi. But I really like my life. This week, I'm going to teach you the steps that I implemented in my life so that you can learn to like your life. All right? And it's a choice. You have to decide whether or not you want to live a life that you like. And I know that sounds like a really strange question, because why would somebody choose to have a life that they don't like? I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of veterinarians who are very invested in having a life that they hate. Very invested in having a life that they hate, because it gives them something to complain about. It gives them a drama to be a part of. And I think we could look and think of people in every walk of our lives, for whom they are so invested in the life that they don't like because it's comfortable. It seems really safe and secure, and they're miserable. There are reams of books written about really sort of miserable people. It's the whole concept of anti-hero. Anti-heroes are not happy people, right? And we love it. We love it. And so the very first question I want you to ask yourself is, am I willing to do the things that I have to do and choose those things freely to have a life that I like? The answer may be no. Tons of people are super invested in having a life that they don't like. All right? If you want it to be different, you got to make that choice, and you got to have that choice be made every day. So what are the 5 steps? And I'm going to go through these 5 steps, and we're gonna be reiterating these all week. But the 5 steps are basically this. All right. For those of you who work with me, or listen to the podcast, or are in the proofing box, because I guess broadcasting this to the proofing box, you know that I talk about assets a lot. And there are those 6 assets in your business that I talk about. There are assets in your life, and if you own a business, those 2 are like really combined. But you have assets in your life, and you know you have assets in your life because one of those assets is maybe the house that you live in or whatever abode you live in. Okay, money in the bank. We define those as assets. I'm going to go through with you on some other thoughts about assets that's a bit more comprehensive, because your assets are the foundation upon which you build your life. All right, and when you can understand what those assets are, and you can freely choose around them about what you want them to be, you can freely choose in your life. And a life that you like, in my estimation, is based on freedom to show up how we want to be and who we want to be. Okay? So step 1 is understanding where you are in your assets. I do this work like every single day. Step 2 is to understand what your current results are. So the life that you like, all right, is who you are in the world, all right, and your assets and how you do things, and those all create results. So there's a big understanding, and sometimes it seems obvious, and I've talked about results over the past couple of weeks while we've been doing this coaching. And sometimes it seems obvious, but it really might not be obvious about what your current results are. So we're talking about understanding your assets today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about your current results. Number 3 is managing your mind, and you'll understand that more after what I talk about today. But I'm going to teach you the 3 tools that I use multiple times a day, every day, multiple times a day, to manage my own mind. Okay. And there is no problem I cannot solve without this, with these tools. Okay, I can do anything. You put me in charge of coronavirus response, I could do that. Of course, I'm a trained public health professional, and I'd use other public health professionals, but we'd use those tools. Okay, number 4 is the second part of managing your mind, which is decision-making. Okay. One of the reasons I am as successful and I get as much done as I do is because I make decisions wicked fast. I mean, like, really wicked fast. All right? And then I didn't really know how to write this, but I decided to denote it as 12-month results. All right? And those are a lot like, we talk about current results. We're going to talk about, on Friday, we're going to talk about 12-month results, okay? Because we're undergoing the coronavirus response right now, and in 12 months we'll be doing something different. All right, March, if you don't know this, is actually the high season for flu, and so we will be in the middle of at the epicenter of whatever flu we're going to get next year, which is probably going to be a bad flu year. All right, and so we're going to have lots of things that we are going to want to have experienced under our belt, and lots of ways for us to manage our mind between now and then. Okay? So when I think about results, or when I think about understanding the assets in my life, this is how I think about it. All right? So you have a brain, okay? And your brain, you've heard me talk about this, you have your primitive brain and you have your prefrontal cortex, okay? And when I say manage your mind, I mean use your prefrontal cortex to understand the urges and the impulses and the habitual modes of thought that come from the more primitive or lower parts of your brain. Okay? And that managing your mind is the single biggest thing that you can do. It hits on these 5 things, like in multiple different places. But if you think of this circle, okay, as the sum totality of you managing your mind, the way I think about this is that me managing my mind is connection with myself. All right? Am I creating a connection with myself? And you'll see this when we do those tools that I use on Wednesday, okay? Because from your connection with yourself and how you think and feel and how you act creates the possibility of all of the other assets, all right? So the first asset and the most important asset is you've got your mindset here, okay? Your mindset is the totality of your connection with yourself and your connection with others. Right? Now, I am here to tell you that your connection with others, your relationship with others, are entirely in your own mind. I love Andrew because I create thoughts in my mind that create a feeling of love, that create actions that look like love. All right? And I know that can be very out there for some folks, but thought, feel, act cycles is what we call that, is what creates all of my connection, what creates all of your connection. All y'all who never met me in person have a connection with me, right? And I know it because you DM me, you send me emails, you say, oh my God, Michelle, I listened to that podcast and it was amazing, right? You have a connection with me that's completely in your mind, and that's amazing because that means we have all of the control in our own heads about our connection with other people in times where we feel like we have no control at all, right? So we can control our connection with ourselves. Now, we may have habitual modes of thought that make that harder or easier, but you can recognize it, and I assure you that is the very first step to calming down the chaos. If you have chaotic connections with other people, the very first step is recognizing that your connection with other people is 100% developed in your own mind. And that is a beautiful thing because it means your power is all within you and none of the power is with that other individual. Okay? There are people who are going to argue with me about this, about pathological situations. Those situations are pathological. They are not the norm, okay? And they are disordered connections when there is abuse going on, okay? But even in those situations, in the worst situation that you can think of, people are in charge of their own thoughts, and it is their own thoughts that create whatever reality that they are living in, okay? So your mindset is the is the summation of your first 2 assets, okay? The next asset that you have in your life is the products of your life, okay? So this looks a lot like some of our labels. Doctor, wife, mother. I don't know if daughter is a product of my life. I didn't really have a whole lot of say in that one. But I suppose I could. There are people who do very much have a say as to whether or not they're going to be somebody's kid. So the products of your life, your degrees, your titles, all of that sort of stuff, those are assets in your life. Okay, my doctorate degree is an asset in my life. My degree from my undergraduate institution, my My status as a returned Peace Corps volunteer. I use that on the phone today to create connection. we use these products as ways to generate thoughts that generate connection. Okay? You have processes by which you conduct your life. All right? Even if you think you don't have processes, you have processes. If you have a checking account, you have a process. Okay? I have a ton of processes in my life, and I'm going to talk about that when we talk about decision making. Okay? So products is number 3, processes is number 4. All right? And then all the stuff and the money is number 5. Okay? All the stuff and the money is number 5. Most of us look at number 5 and assume that's all our assets. It's not all your assets. It's not even close. And if what you're accruing is that as assets, you will understand that after I think the studies show that $75,000 a year is about where you top out at living the life that you like. Okay, the life that you like by accruing more money and more stuff, right? Maybe it's a little higher than $75,000 a year. Maybe it's a little lower for you, but there is a top point at which more money does not make you more happy. And everybody knows that. Everybody knows that there are some very, very miserable rich people, okay? But we concentrate and we accrue our assets as if number 5 is the only one that matters. And there are parts of this that matter very, very dearly, but I guarantee you're not going to be able to execute on getting more stuff or getting the stuff that you want, like a house, without also executing on this stuff first. See, so when people say, Michelle, how do you get it all done? Is because the lion's share of my waking hours in my day is concentrating on maintaining and creating connection with myself, maintaining and creating connection with others. I use my products and my processes to maintain connection with myself and to maintain connection with others. And I believe that if I put assets 1 through 4 into place, the assets in the 5 column are going to come to fruition in a way that serves me, that serves my family, that serves my business, that serves my community. As we are going through coronavirus right now, there is an epic amount of concentration on stuff. Okay? So total concentration on stuff. And as if stuff is what makes us feel safe. This never makes us feel safe. Ever at all. Okay? Your number in your bank account, your savings number, is probably the closest approximation to how safe you feel in the universe. Okay? Like if you talk to people who do like money coaching with people, they all say that. They all say that. And the size of your savings account indicates how safe you feel in the world. Okay? And so one of the things that you can look to do is to say, okay, well, if that's true, how do I have to manage my mindset, all right, my products and my processes to generate more money in my bank account? Okay? That can be a hard conversation in the middle of coronavirus right now. Especially, I mean, I was looking at something and somebody was at the store and the store like sold an entire pallet of like isopropyl alcohol, right? And when we look at hoarding, we look at people who are assuming that stuff and turning that stuff into money is going to make them feel better. If you don't have these things squared away, generating money is not going to make you feel better. You are not going to feel safer with that money in the bank. You're not. Okay? Your safety comes from connecting with yourself first and foremost. And a lot of the work that we're going to be doing for the rest of the week is going to be very much focused on connecting with yourself. When you have a solid and stable foundation of connecting with yourself, all these others fall into line. How do I know that? Because I am living the transformation. I am living the transformation. I've, like I can list them again. I've lost 85 pounds. I've quit drinking. Like my business is going by leaps and bounds. I am putting decisions into place in my family that are going to serve us for years to come, even in the middle of coronavirus. And it's because every day I am working on the connection with myself. And it's because I ask myself in situations, like in any situations, how do I want to be right now? And who do I want to be right now? And when my emotions are getting all ramped up and I'm like, ugh, this is going really, really wrong, what feeling am I running away from? And those are just the 3 questions to start out with. How do I want to be right now? Who do I want to be right now? And what feelings am I running away from if you feel yourself getting really ramped up in emotional energy? You may not be getting ramped up in emotional energy. When you just recognize your feelings, it's way easier, right? But that's where we start. All right, that's what I have for you today on Noontime Coaching. I'm glad everybody finds this so helpful. Share it with somebody. These are all going up on the YouTube page. We've had some processing issues, but these are going to go up very, very soon. All the whole series. I am here for the duration. Like my kids are out of school until April, and I am just going to keep coming on at 12:30 on Mondays and noon Tuesday through Sunday for the whole duration. All right. So we are here on the weekends. I got your back. All right. Allow yourself to develop a deep and profound meaning and connection with yourself. All right. And that is the first step to living a life that you really like. You are all amazing and beautiful people. Thank you for spending the time with me here. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.